These blank nuts here, this is obviously on the reed block. I think these are torque nuts, they may be, and I think they shear off when you tighten onto a torque, but there again I may be wrong. But these are just bolts, so just use some vice grips and you can just twist them out, it's not an issue. This flywheel puller has an insert with the bolt in there. Now this is too big for the flywheel, so we've machined up a little one like this, which will fits in here. It's got a centering pivot on it, and hopefully that will get it out. I put some masking tape around the exposed threads of my puller because I have a tendency of this spanner moving down, it'll stop them from getting damaged. With this insert, it pulled it right off. So I'll put the numbers for that, my little sketch for it when I had it made, when I made it up. So if you need to use it, you can make one yourselves. The puller you're going to need is an M27 by 1, and it's a right hand thread. A lot of the ones I found in New Zealand are left hand threads, like this one. Won't work, it's a right hand thread. In the workshop manual it says to take this off to get this off. Now in the later models you have a retaining bolt here. So you remove this retaining bolt and you just pull these springs over this actuator lever, I don't really know what it's called, but and you can pull the whole shaft out. Being as this hasn't got a retaining clip here, I'm in the thinking that this won't actually pull out towards me. So what I'm hoping to do is to be able to split the cases and pull the gears out and leave this in place without touching it, unless there's something wrong with it obviously, and then we'll have another look. This is one of the worst gearboxes I've put in. So I've got a zip tie holding this to there to keep all of that group together, because this one drops. It has got a washer back there, but this one drops. You need to keep it in line because this plate here needs to be on top of that. If it swaps out, you can't get them past each other. The other thing is we need this inner fork selector. That needs to be in, because once it's in the gearbox, once the gears are in, you can't actually get that in, so it's got to be in situ before you put it in. The drum, the selector drum, needs to be out, so that's floating in between the gears. So you've got to try and rattle the whole thing in together. The bearing on the shaft in here is pretty tight, so it's not just a case of sliding in. This one here slides in. It knocks in just with the palm of your hand, but it's not like just sliding in nice and smooth. And then you've got to click the adjuster here back so you can get the barrel back into place, and that's how it goes in. The easiest way to move this barrel around, stick a little screwdriver in here and you can rotate it. Worked for me anyway, so we're all in. We're looking good so far. Make sure you've got it seated correctly here. You've got to push this spring back, this roller here, so you can seat your barrel change right. Otherwise it's going to be not seated correctly and it's going to be tight under here. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to put a little bit of grease here, in here. a little bit of rubber grease around here, a little bit of greasy around here. I'm going to take this cloth off my piston and I'm going to wrap it around the wrap it around here, whatever that's called, crank, and then we're going to put the cold pack on it. With the cold pack on it, I'm hoping to shrink it, and I've got a little bit of steel here which I've milled down or laid down or whatever. I'm going to heat that up, and then I'm going to drop that into here. The idea is that the heat from here will transfer here without actually putting any direct flame on here, which might affect the seals. So that will expand the bearing in here without putting any direct flame or heat torch or anything to it, just from transferring it from here. With a cold pack on here, I'm hoping that it'll just slide, the casing will slide straight on. It'll just give me that little bit of room that it will just go on nicely. So first thing I'm going to do is grease up my gasket, and I'm going to place the gasket on here, and then I'm going to, with the cold pack on there, then I'm going to heat this up with the blowtorch, or you can put it in a barbecue, an oven or whatever, and then I'm going to just leave it in there for a few minutes and just let the heat transfer through, and hopefully we can put it on. That should be us gearbox back in.